Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Boros Superfriends deck led by Aurelia Exemplar. Can our Planeswalkers win the epic value battle? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link, as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Aurelia Exemplar of Justice Boros Superfriends today. Take a look at this opening hand. We've got 3 lands, one of which is a Maze of Ith, is a little weird, but we have Sword of the Animist. Ooh. We've also got a Myriad Landscape, so as long as we find like another land that produces mana, then we can crack the Myriad Landscape and get some ramp. I think this is keepable. And if we get the 5 mana at any point, we've got Assemble the Legion, which seems pretty good. There's a Selvala Explorer returned at the table, so that'll probably get us to draw some extra cards. And hopefully we can find our way into a land right there. So, funny story about this deck. A while back, and like I'm talking a little while now, probably like a year at this point, someone asked me, hey, can you build a Boros Superfriends deck? And then I went to go build the deck and realized that I had already built a Boros Superfriends deck and just completely forgot about it. I haven't shown this deck yet, so it's been sitting around for a while. So I went ahead and made some updates before the game, since in the past year there was a lot of stuff for Planeswalkers, War of the Spark, Planeswalker set, so lots of Proliferate and stuff like that floating around that's been added to the list. But anyway, I did play this deck once or twice back then. That was before Sword of Truth and Justice, before the White Thrumming Bird got printed, so this is the first time out with it since all the updates. But anyway, let's get the Myriad Landscape into play first. If we catch like a Mana Crypt or a Soul Ring, we can crack it early, and that would be a good thing. We are first in the turn order, which is good news. But our deck is still just going to be glacially slow, so... Opponent's going to play an Authority of the Consoles? Sure. Probably a card that needs to go in this deck, honestly. Authority will be good. Ooh, Nate's playing mono white today. Usually Nate plays green, and he just goes wild and plays like 40 or 50 cards by turn 6. That's probably not going to be the case with God Eternal Oketra. Although God Eternal Oketra is still very strong, but it's not a play 50 cards from your deck in 6 turns type of commander. Fortunately for us, ooh, there's an untapped land. So that's the land we needed. Let's go ahead and continue getting these tap lands into play. Going to go ahead and crack the Wayfarer's Bauble that he played last turn. But what I was about to say is that this deck should actually be well suited to handle a creature deck, particularly a mono white one where like there's not so much haste available with mono white tokens. There's a couple things, but they are reasonably easy to shoot down, as 2 of them are artifacts. The Drawbridge and Akroma's Memorial are the ones I'm thinking of. There are a few other ways as well, Odric and some stuff like that, but in general, mono white tokens does not do the same thing that Craterhoof Behemoth does with the token deck, so we should have a little bit of time to at least see what's coming. We can slow things down for days with this deck. We have Citadel Siege in this deck, which I'm super excited about. Usually most of the decks I play, Aurelia, especially if you're playing this card, you probably want it on Cons mode. With this deck, we're going on Dragons mode. At the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, tap target creature that player controls. Pretty sweet. And we draw a Sentinel of the Eternal Watch, essentially the same thing in creature form. So we're going to play a Command Tower, and now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot to play like Protector of the Crown and cards like that in the deck. A lot of giants that are good for this Planeswalker kind of plan, so... Anyway, crack the Myriad Landscape. We're going to go over 2 planes right here since we've already got the Emeria in play, and we'll worry about trying to get a second red source later on. We've got some options for next turn. If we don't catch a land, we go for the Maze of Ith, cast our commander, then probably start working toward the Sword of the Animist. If we do catch a land, probably straight into Assemble the Legion. Skyscanner coming into play for opponent. That will trigger the Authority of the Consoles and the Auriok Champion. Selvala did lay down an Auriok Champion last turn. Ooh. You want to know what deck that new Heliod's going to be really good in? Selvala Explorer returned. With this style of build, yeah. Here comes the Selvala, and opponent will gain another life. Talked a little bit about what Nate's playing, talked a little bit about the Selvala that Xenosai is playing. And finally, we've got Rogaku piloting Ramos Dragon Engine. 5 colors, don't know what they're on yet, but we'll find out as we get going. There's a Makokoro. Sweet, untapped land. Play the Makokoro. Get Assemble the Legion. Hope it doesn't get shot. It probably will. This got pro red? Yeah, it's got pro red. Means we cannot shoot it with the Ajani Vengeant. That's got 4 toughness, so shooting that's not going to help much either. However, we can make it not untap, which could be interesting. And that'll probably be a good idea. I've seen Selvala decks just get wild lately. Even when they're quote-unquote mid-power, they still just generate mana like no other and really get out of hand. So tapping that will probably be the way to go, and that'll allow us to tick up the Ajani. We draw a Boros Garrison. That's actually pretty good. That'll allow us to make our next 2 land drops, which I really like. Opponent's going to go for a Nissa's Chosen right there. And going to play a Dawn of Hope. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of life gain stuff. Unless someone plays some removal here, I think I'm on play a Ajani Vengeant, tap the Explorer, and get the Maze of Ith into play. Ooh, that's a Defense of the Heart for opponent. That's a good card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sacrifice Defense of the Heart. And search your library for 2 creature cards, put those onto the battlefield. Oof. If someone doesn't want to get rid of a creature, then we're probably going to find out what the worst 2 creatures in that Ramos deck are. Oop, our soldier does come in tapped. That may actually change what I do right here. Authority of the Consoles triggers, Dawn of Hope triggers. We got a lot of enchantments to blow up. We do not have that many pieces of enchantment removal in the deck. There's a Wanderer. Wanderer's fun. How many, with our creature coming in tapped, how many things can we actually protect a Ajani from? We could let the Sky Scanner in. That'll get it for 1. That'll be tapped. I guess nothing else is coming in with haste because of the authority. Yeah, so I think I'm on a Ajani Vengeant right here. Play the Maze of Ith. Keep the Selvala tapped. Next turn, perhaps the Sword of the Animist. Really? He's going to forsake the worldly on our Assemble the Legion? Over Defense of the Heart? At least Authority of the Consoles is in play. Whatever comes in will come in tapped. So it can't just be like Avenger, Crater Hoof, win the game type stuff. But, you know, Vorinclex is still a card. I was excited to see Assemble the Legion in a deck where it really fits, too. That makes me so disappointed. Mentor the Meek coming in for Nate. I guess if nothing else, at least we have the Wanderer next turn. If something big should come down, we can exile it. Cool Planeswalker that I cracked a lot of packs of Aura the Spark and have a bunch of them sitting around. Haven't used it anywhere yet. I think it's actually going to be pretty good in that burn-style deck that I was talking about the other day with Haktos. So I'm excited to get a look at the Wanderer. This is really my first time playing it. And hopefully it does the things we want it to do. I figured with this deck and the ability to get loyalty back because of Proliferate, that exile target creature with power 4 or greater should actually be pretty good. Opponent does send the Sky Scanner into our Ajani Vengeant. I just let that go because there is a 2-3 in play. I'd rather prevent the 2 damage than the 1. If for some reason they don't attack us, then, well, whatever. That just is what it is. But Nate says he's got a defense answer. That seems like it's probably a pretty good thing. Opponent going to send both things at our Ajani Vengeant. We will maze the 2-3. Here comes a Ren's Run Packmaster for the Selvala opponent. They will continue to gain life. They have to champion a creature, and they are up to 51. There's an Aven Mind Sensor out of Nate, so that should make Defense of the Heart not very good. I believe that's a May, is it not? At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sacrifice it. It is not a May. So, opponent probably about to get hosed on the Defense of the Heart. Unfortunately, we do have a couple ways to search Planeswalkers in our deck, so we'll be losing access to those. Also, Sword of the Animist, way less good with the Mind Sensor in play. We'll need to find one of our board wipes. The board wipes are a little bit weird in this deck. Some of them are Planeswalker based, so they're not the super traditional type board wipes that you might expect. There are a couple of them, but not nearly as many as I normally run, just because, plain and simple, I ran out of deck slots trying to get this thing built. I was at like 109 cards and had to cut it down, so. Opponent's gonna sacrifice their Defense of the Heart. Let's see what they get. They still get a Divinity of Pride and a Mesa Enchantress. Okay. Divinity of Pride, still a pretty good card. Auriok Champion and Authority of the Consoles continuing to trigger. Blasphemous Act would not be the worst thing that I've ever seen at this moment. It's just a lot of clutter on board already. Turn 5. Love to slow things down just a teeny bit. Just made a little deal with our opponent. Told him if they attack elsewhere with the Divinity, then I won't exile it. Eidolon of Blossoms coming into play, so kind of a weird Enchantress Ramos build. Looks like it's going to be over there. I bet I know what it is. Divinity of Pride, maybe a God's deck, because you would run Divinity for the Devotion. Maybe that's what they're up to. That will trigger, man, I gotta auto some of these triggers. We got Aurelia Champion, Authority of the Consoles, and Eidolon of Blossoms, all triggering. Dawn of Hope also triggers. We'll auto that one as well. Makes me sad that a card that I cut right before this game was Akroma's Vengeance, which would be helpful for this current board state. Still got Ugin, though. We've got a Boros Garrison that we need to get into play at some point. How much mana do we have? We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Sun Titan get a land, probably. But if someone has a board wipe, they're probably going to use a board wipe. That's all stuff. We can only protect against one creature, and there's like a lot of creatures in play. Citadel Siege. Some thought about Citadel Siege. We could be on 7 mana. Tap the Selvala. Think I'm just going to go for the Sun Titan, get the land in. Oh, we need to play a land first, so it's going to have to be the Sacred Foundry. Maze of Ith does not make mana. Pay the 2 life. If something happens to the Sun Titan, we then go on the try to get 7 planes for Emeria plan. So Sun Titan comes in, that'll get back the Myriad Landscape. And we're just going to leave our guy staying put. Arcane Encyclopedia for Nate. He's going to attack into Rogaku. Down for that. So they take a hit down to 36. No attacks from the Selvala opponent. So when we untap, we'll have 8 mana producing lands. If we catch an untapped land off the top, we'd have 9. More likely, we'll probably try to get the Boros Garrison going. Yep, knew it. It's a God's deck. Karanos coming in. That'll trigger the Mesa Enchantress. So we'll want to be careful with the Wanderer. The Wanderer is repeatable exile, and that can get rid of a lot of gods. Opponent's going to send their Divinity of Pride over to the Selvala Explorer Returned. So they go down to 53. Ramos goes up to 44. The lifelink is the thing. There's an Elspeth. We don't currently have anything to get back with Sun Titan. I think I'm actually on, like, Shoot Aven Mind Sensor, Cracked Myriad Landscape. Maybe put a Sword of the Animist. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. I like that idea. So let's shoot the Aven Mind Sensor. Let's crack the Myriad Landscape. Let's get 2 more planes. We could give the Sun Titan +3/+3 in flying. Doesn't seem awful. Or we could go on the Sword of the Animist plan. I think the Sword of the Animist will draw less attention to ourselves, and maybe we try to set up for like a really big turn next turn, I think is where we want to be. So let's do that. Let's get Sword of the Animist. Equip Sword of the Animist. Hope we don't get punished here on attacks, but we'll see what happens. Attack into the Selvala. Sun Titan will trigger. Get back the Myriad Landscape. Oh yeah, that's good. Sword of the Animist will trigger. Get that mana ramp. This is how you ramp in Boros, by the way. A lot of Sun Titan and Sword of the Animist. So this is Sword of the Animist. With the Sword of the Animist, I'm going to get a mountain just because we haven't grabbed really any mountains yet. Do want to have some amount of red mana available. We'll get back the Myriad Landscape. If we need to crack that again next turn, we'll get 2 more planes. Use that ability. Xeno takes the hit, goes down to 46. They've got life to spare. Let's play the Boros Garrison. We're going to bounce the mountain because we don't want to interfere with our planes count. So bounce the mountain, and that was a pretty good turn. Pass the turn. I'm a little bit worried that we're probably going to take some damage back at our Ajani Vengeant right here, but we'll see. It's also down to 1 loyalty. Ooh, that's a Selfless Spirit. Selfless Spirit, pretty good in the face of board wipes. Makes them significantly less effective. Opponent going to draw with the Dawn of Hope. Yep, seems good. Opponent activates the Selvala. We look at another mountain. And we've actually slowed them down quite a bit. Usually Selvala's off to the races by this point. Oh, they found an Hour of Revelation. Oh, that's going to hurt so bad. That will hurt so badly. I mean, they probably have to play it. Like, there's so much value on board. Card draw, card draw. I guess the Selfless Spirit can protect everything. Oh, they're just going to lay down a Tristani. Okay. What did everyone else reveal? Should probably take a look at that. Scapegoat. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Return any number of target creatures you control to their owner's hand. Wow. That's actually a pretty cool little card. That is a way to protect your stuff. Although, white does have a decent amount of protection effects that don't require you to sacrifice. This one would get you around like a Toxic Deluge is why it would be good. But in the face of just like Wrath of God, you're probably better off with just one of the indestructible ones. You don't have to sacrifice a thing. But if you do want creatures in the graveyard, it's not terrible. It's a cool little card. Karanos trigger for opponent. Let's see where they point it. Selfless Spirit is probably... Oh, nope. They hit the land. What happens when they hit the land? I forget how this works. Draw the first card in each of your turns. Whenever you reveal land this way, draw a card. Whenever you reveal a non-land, 3 damage to any target. Ajani is a good target. Selfless Spirit is a good target. Our token is not an awful target. Now, the Hour of Revelation makes me not want to just, like, cough all of our Planeswalkers into play. How do we bait that out? A Mirari's Wake probably might bait out a Hour of Revelation. That's a Leyline of Anticipation? Yeah, that's some nasty stuff. Like, opponent's got mana doubling, Eidolon of Blossoms. If we could get, like, Teferi's Protection or a Sunforger, that would be the next ideal step, knowing that there's an Hour of Revelation lurking. Divinity of Pride back into the elf opponent. We draw a land. Oh, this is tricky. Really don't want to... Maybe we just play creatures. We can get creatures back. Ameria's almost active. Yeah, crack Myriad Landscape. Any strip mines in play? Don't see any currently. Get 2 planes. Play a mountain. We can actually activate Makokoro also. Maybe that's the thing we do. Activate Makokoro. There's a Karn. Yep, that's a Planeswalker. We'll want to hang on to that. And I think we might just play the Sentinel on our turn. At the in our second main. Problem now is that Sun Titan does not have great attacks into a bunch of tokens over here. Opponent could block with the 6/6. This gives their wolves death touch. I don't know if they want to trade that or not. Yeah, we'll just slam it into them. Sun Titan will trigger. Get back the Myriad Landscape. Sword of the Animus will trigger. And this will be our last basic. I jammed a bunch of non-basics into the deck right before we went to film, and like ideally, I probably need to cut down like a few of those. Having like even just like 2 more basics in the deck would be really, really good. Opponent gonna block with 2 2/2s. Okay. So we'll trim back the tokens a little bit, it looks like. We're gonna keep the Selvala tapped because I'm trying to force them into this Hour of Revelation. Do we just hold creatures? Let's play the Sentinel. The Sentinel might force it. We're on 7 planes also. It does come in tapped. Sentinel of the Eternal Watch is a really cool card. It's a 4/6 Vigilance. At the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, tap target creature that player controls. That can mess up so many things. It is really, really cool. It unfortunately competes in a mana cost slot with Sun Titan, Inferno Titan, and there are just a bunch of really cool white 6-drops. So it's not one that you get to see often. Most often it'll show up in like a giant tribal deck. And as far as giants go, I think it's one of the better ones, excluding like Sun Titan, Inferno Titan. But pretty cool little card. Can really mess up some stuff. There's a Sun Titan for opponent. Yeah, that Hour of Revelation's looking pretty good. Opponent's just going to get back a land. That's fine with me. So opponent's going to combat. We're going to tap something out for them. Let's go ahead and tap this. Let's say the Selfless Spirit. So they go no attacks. Looks like they'll probably just draw with the Arcane Encyclopedia at some point. All right, it worked. All of our efforts have paid off. Here comes the Hour of Revelation. Nate's going to crack the Selfless Spirit, give his creatures indestructible. We'll want to make sure we either exile or tap down the Sun Titan. And he's going to draw a card before the Encyclopedia gets blown up. So this is really good. The mana doubler goes down. Some important stuff goes down for the God's opponent. We get rid of this Hour of Rev, which is good. It kind of basically takes up the entire turn of the Selvala player. And we have a lot of mana, so we can play a lot of spells this coming turn. Keranos trigger. Keranos is going to shoot the Nissa's Chosen. Opponent's going to Beast Within the Sun Titan. Very nice. So Sun Titan down. Mana Vault. They are playing a mono white deck. At some point, Ameria might show up. That's a Karamitra. Yep. Here comes a Mogus, and that'll trigger the Karamitra. So that's going to bring it back to our turn. A Ameria trigger on us. Let's get the Sun Titan. I'm going for the Sun Titan here just because it's more damage, and our opponents have a lot of life, and we just need to do more damage right now. Also, there's always some chance that Ameria gets shot, and we don't get a second crack with it. Things like that have happened to me in the past. And as much as I like Sentinel of the Eternal Watch, it's not Sun Titan. That's a Wheel of Fortune. Probably not the time for Wheel of Fortune. I like what we have currently. So let's play this mountain. Play the Karn. Use the +1. We'll choose Nate. We get a land. What's the other one? A Gideon. Would have preferred the Gideon. I think we get our commander right here. Doesn't look like we have anything else to do with red mana, so I think we can tap all that out. Let's get an Elspeth. Activate the Makokoro. Here's a Signet. Well, could have played that earlier. Use the Elspeth. Let's... Yep, our stuff does not have haste, so let's just make a token. And we'll pass like that. Mogus Trigger on Nate. Maybe we actually need to use the cons mode on Citadel because we just need to start doing damage is really what this comes down to right now. Here comes Oketra, and here comes a Solemn Simulacrum. We'll trigger the Oketra. They get a 4/4, so they've got a little bit of power starting to show up on board. The Gods player has 12 cards in hand, though. That's like a pretty big issue. So Nate's sending all available attackers into the Ramos player. It's only going to be 6 damage, though, but literally anything to at least get them below 40. Next turn, we're going to want to get the Marsh Flats in, crack that, and get our Mistfell Plains. Mistfell Plains, part of our win condition. The win condition for this deck, I decided to go with the Final Fortune Sunforger combo with Angel's Grace, because taking extra turns with Planeswalkers seems like a really good idea. So originally I had like a Godo Helm of the Host thing in here, but I decided that, you know, any deck can do that, so I decided to go something that suits the deck a little bit more. Taking extra turns, good with Planeswalkers, so that's where we ended up. And it's nice, too, because that combo doesn't add too much in the way of cards to the deck. You could go really minimalist and go just Final Fortune, Sunforger, Mistveil Plains, and Angel's Grace, and that's 4 cards, 2 of which I was going to run already anyway. So really adding 2 cards to the deck. I've added the Gideon for a little bit of backup. You could add Sundial of the Infinite for additional backup if you want to devote a card slot to it. Here comes the Selvala back to play. Yep. Ramos is going to get an untap. Getting into that scary part of the game where everyone's got a lot of mana available. Suppose we have a lot of mana. I think we're leading the mana, actually, but Ramos being multicolor, we did get rid of 1 mana doubler. There could be more. Once that happens, then you know you're in real trouble. Keranos trigger for opponent. Let's see where they point it. Wouldn't mind taking down a Souls Warden. Thing is nasty. Did they get the land? That's Quicksilver Amulet. Quicksilver Amulet is a card. They're going to shoot our Karn. Karn down to 3 loyalty. Yeah, that's a damnation. Everything getting blued up. Oh, yeah, Nate's got the thing. What do you protect right here? Oh, yeah, just going to bounce everything. It seems good. I cut Hainware battlements before the game. We could really use some haste. Everything going down. Or at least, not Nate's stuff. He bounced most of it, but our stuff going down. Opponent's going to play a Quicksilver Amulet. Yeah, that can cause problems. Start flashing gods down. Ooh. Brings it back to our turn. Get back the Sun Titan. Mogus trigger on us. That's an Elish Norn. That's a card. That would hurt Nate's army. Doesn't do amazing things for us. We're going to hold that Elish Norn for a second, I think. Play the Marsh Flats. Crack the Marsh Flats. Get the Mistveil Plains. Use the Karn. Grab this Planeswalker. Play the Planeswalker. This is the you get an emblem one, so we'll get that emblem. That's part of our combo. We could wheel. It's a thing we could do. Maybe next turn. Still 10 cards in the Gods player. God opponent's hand. Activate Gaia Reach, although their turn was like fine. I don't know. Activate Makokoro. We draw Path of Ancestry. Looks like we've got about 10 mana left. Let's make a token with Elspeth. Guess we play the Wanderer. Play the Wanderer. Play Citadel Siege. I think because the game's already stalled out, we're going on cons. We just need to get damage. That's why it's a cool card. It is modal. You can choose the one you need. Nothing to exile at the moment. If these gods start turning into creatures, we'll exile them. Got 1 mana left. Yeah, I think we're passing like that. Citadel Siege on Sun Titan. Pass the turn. Next turn, maybe we think about the Wheel of Fortune. We got to be careful with the Wheel of Fortune, too. Someone might find a strip mine. Could think about Wheel of Fortune, ditch the Elish Norn. Here's an Oketra's Monument. Well, Elish Norn really good against those tokens. But again, got a temporary alliance going with Nate. We need to get some damage on these other players because, I mean, they're both above 40. Like, we are so far away from trying to take them out. Now, we're a more combo-centric deck, so I guess the life total isn't as big of a deal, but you'd prefer that, like, someone is in range of dying to someone else as opposed to sitting pretty with a ton of life and, like, nowhere near death. There isn't just an I win in the deck. It's essentially like you take infinite turns and then at some point you kill them. So like their life total does kind of matter, but in all likelihood they scoop at some point once you have like infinite Planeswalker activations because then it's just time consuming and annoying. But so Nate going on the rebuild right there. Gets God Eternal Oketra in, gets the Mentor of the Meek, gets a bunch of warriors off of the Oketra's Monument, gets 2 zombies off of the Oketra. And also a Mother of Runes in the mix there. Here comes Selvala back to play. Yep. Opponent's got their own Maze of Ith out, so Sun Titan probably not going to get a lot done. Keranos trigger. And the Wanderer does protect us from Keranos triggers. Let's see if opponent realizes it. Nope. I'm going to point it at the Gideon. Oh, we can turn Gideon into an attacker. Forgot about that. That damage is prevented. Actually, what did opponent reveal today? Yeah, they reveal destroy all creatures with toughness 4 or greater. I bet we're going to see that. But that damage is still prevented. Oop, here comes Vidalcan Orrery. Opponent can flash down that citywide bust. What we can do is we can Wheel of Fortune that thing away, and that's probably what we're going to want to do. We don't know what they'll draw into, and it seems like they've got a lot of board wipes, but they've also got an Oversoul of Dusk in their hand. They could flash that down. Oversoul is pretty annoying. Blue, black, and red. We have a lot of white stuff that can still handle that. Opponent tapping mana. Gonna go for Afara, and more importantly, they tapped out. They'll get a Plains out of it, but they have Quicksilver Amulet and Vidalcan Orrery in play. They should be holding up that mana. Guess just thinking they need more card draw, but we're going to wheel away the stuff in their hand. Ooh, they've got an Open the Vaults in their hand. Yep, let's get rid of that. That's the type of card that'll beat you in the late game. Brings us back to our turn. Ameria will trigger. Mogus will trigger. Use the Ameria ability. Get back Sentinel of the Eternal Watch. We draw a Buried Ruin. Buried Ruin, I think probably the most valuable of the lands in our hand, so play the Buried Ruin. Play the Wheel of Fortune. And we'll just look to get Elesh Norn back with the Ameria. Opponent's going to path on our Sun Titan. We do not have a sack outlet for that. And we're out of basics. Yep, no basics. We draw. Ooh, Gisella's a card. Gisela is a very real card. There's a Dousing Dagger, more mana ramp. Karn's Bastion is a card that we need to get into play. Don't have a great way to protect any of our stuff. There's a Jeru. Jeru can get Ugin. Ugin can do work. Problem is that we'll hit a lot of our own stuff if we do that. These are all 0. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's a 5. That's 5, 5, 4. 4. What did opponents discard? Aetherflux Reservoir. Open the Vaults. Omniscience. Gas Lord of the Fugue. Yeah. What do we actually lose? We lose a Gideon. Meh. We lose a Wanderer. Wanderer is cool. We lose Elspeth. Elspeth helps us close out the game. But we get rid of all these gods, and that seems like it's probably a good idea. Opponent's got a Quicksilver Amulet and a Vidalcan Orrery. They can still do a lot with that. What other Planeswalkers can we get? Things that do damage would be ideal. We could get Chandra Flamecaller. That one does actually put out some damage, especially with Gisela. Or we could get Elspeth and just keep making tokens with Elspeth. That seems like it might be a winner right there. Especially with Elesh Norn about to come back. Yeah, okay, I like that. So, animate Gideon. Plus Karn. More lands. Mana Crypt is the other one. Find our way through that stuff. Play the Dousing Dagger. Actually, let's get Gisela. Yeah, Dousing Dagger will flip immediately. Or at least it should. We'll give Nate some tokens since he's already got a bunch. Opponent's going to flash in a Mana Crypt. Okay. Mentor of the Meek will trigger off the tokens. I think he's out of mana. He is. Let's get Gisela. So Gideon is a creature. The Soldier is a creature. We'll pump up the Soldier a little bit since there's a Maze of Ith in play. Spread the damage around creature-wise. Equip this to the... This one's got flying. They'll probably prevent it, which is annoying. Citadel Siege will trigger. We'll make Gideon a little bit bigger. Go to combat. Swing with these two creatures into the god's opponent. Yep, they maze on the one with the Dousing Dagger. It's annoying. They do go down to 31, though, so they actually take some damage. Let's get this Jeru into play. I'm going to get Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Is this power or toughness? This is power 4 or greater. Nothing to really exile. We could exile a token. Doesn't seem worth it. Mogus will trigger for Nate. Sentinel will trigger. We'll tap the Mom, since that's the most annoying of cards. They can attack freely, but Mom is a headache. So we're going to send everything into the God's player. That's a good idea. All that damage will be doubled, and now their Maze of Ith is tapped. And that brings down the God's opponent, Gisela with the double damage. Oh, it makes everything deadly. Everything that's not attacking you, super deadly. Everything that is attacking you is very not deadly. Suit opponents got, we're still soft to a board wipe right here. Another Hour Revelation is a problem. There's just also a lot of tokens floating around. We will need to get the Elish Norn and clear out the token threat. Potentially we could proliferate and get the emblem off of Elspeth. Oh, that's a Ranger Captain of Eos. When you sacrifice it, your opponent can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Oh, we might be looking at that. Let's just plan for that, should that happen. That means we would cast our commander. We would play the Karn's Bastion, proliferate. We would draw with Makokoro, probably put something back on bottom with Mistveil Plains. Get the Elish Norn back and try to clear out a lot of the tokens. Nate's going to go for a Soul Warden. Yep. Opponent activates the Selvala, Explorer Return. We draw a Core Haven. Now we're faced with the issue of it's going to take us too long to get all these lands into play. Could use a Walking Atlas. Don't have one in this deck, sadly. Opponents reveal a land and a Serra Ascendant. There are worse things. There is a... Ooh, someone's got a... Nate's got a Smothering Tithe. Okay. We'll need to be careful of that. Essence Warden coming into play. Yep. There's an Oracle of Moldiah. Yeah, tapping down the Selvala early really kind of put them off their game, because usually Selvala has a million lands by this point, and we've kept that from happening. Looks like they are doing a life gain thing, though. A lot of Tristanis floating around. Authority of the Consoles. We saw the pretty much most of the Soul Sisters deck. There's a Leonin War Leader. Oh, one thing we could do. We could play Karn's Bastion, proliferate, crack Elspeth first, then play Austere Command, and then we've got the old one-sided board wipe. We're going to tap down some of our opponent's stuff. We're going to tap down this Leonin War Leader. Ameria will trigger. Get back the Elish Norn. Yep, he cracked the Ranger of Eos. I thought that might happen. We won't be able to play the Austere Command. We still got things we can do, though. Use the Ameria ability. Essence Warden will gain a life. We clean out a lot of stuff. We draw land. That's not what we were looking for. Smothering Tithe will trigger. Not going to pay for it. Probably could and should, but didn't. Play the Karn's Bastion. Activate the Karn's Bastion. We get to proliferate. Proliferate our Planeswalkers. Oh, we could have did this after combat. Got 2 counters on a creature, then proliferated that. Whoops. Cards that I'm not used to playing with regularly. Yeah, just activate the Elspeth before anything goes wrong. Nate's gonna crack a clue, draw a card. Let's get our commander into play. That will add some damage. Actually, let's use the Karn ability. Will we have a Mana Crypt? I think we keep plussing. Choose Xeno. It's an Anointed Procession. Yeah, that'll be handy as soon as we can cast it. Cast Aurelia. Any artifacts in the graveyard? Nope, nothing to really Buried Ruin at the moment. Turn Gideon into a creature. Let's go to combat. Citadel Siege will trigger. Let's put some counters on things with flying. Probably good. Yeah, let's just make Gisela huge. Why not? We'll also put the ability on Gisela since it'll give it vigilance. Maybe we should take Nate out. He plays powerful cards. It's kind of scary. We can't kill both of them. Yeah, he's got 9 cards in hand. Okay. Yeah, we got to kill him, I think. Maybe not. Just because we had to deal with him, I'm going to try not to abuse it. So we'll go the other way and just send everything we got at... Well, actually, let's do the math. So that'll be 10. That'll be 22. What's that? 22 plus 22 is 44 plus 3. So I think it's a 7/7. So that should be about lethal... Oh, it's a 9/9. Okay. So that's a 9/9, which means I think we can send Gisela over to Nate. 9/9 would be 18, plus the 22, that's 40. I think we're going to be 1 short. Anything that does an additional damage. Doesn't look like it. We'll go with that. Dousing Dagger will flip over. Transform it. Yep, they survive at 1. Blah. Nate goes down to 12. Yep. And then I think we just pass like that. I don't think casting creature mode on the Realm Cloaked is where we want to be, so yeah, just pass like that. We've got mana up. We can do things at the end step here. Oh, we have to discard the hand size. Discard the Rugged Prairie. Oh, Nate's got his own area. Let's see what he's got. Oh, he's got the thing. Yeah. He's going to get back the... Oh, he's going to get back Sun Titan. Okay. Yep, and then Sun Titan gets back the 3/2 guy. Did that not trigger? There it is. Yep, Sun Titan get back the Ranger Captain of Eos. May consider, yeah, probably exile the Sun Titan with the Wanderer when that comes around. We're safe against board wipes. Ugin is a card. All is Dust is a card. Fiend Hunter is a card. That can exile something. That'll trigger God Eternal Oketra. Probably the... I mean, it's got to be the Elesh Norn, right? Oketra's Monument makes a token, but that'll get eaten. Oketra herself will make a token. It's a she, right? Pretty sure it's a she. Fiend Hunter in. Fiend Hunter will get a trigger. Targets the Gisela. Interesting. Okay. When your choices are Gisela or Elesh Norn, both are backbreaking. I'd probably go for the Elesh Norn, though, just because he is making 1/1 tokens. And that is pretty relevant. But Gisela also an immensely powerful card, so tough place to be. I guess Gisela is also flying, which is a real headache. Mana Crypt coming in. Yep. Sarah Ascendant coming in. Triggers all of the stuff. Cracks another clue. Draws another card. And then Nate plays a Winds of Abandon. No lands to get. What are we losing? He exiled our Elesh Norn. That's actually a really big deal. Oh, we might die. We should have killed him. That just came in, right? Yeah, he just got that back. Yeah, tap down one of these 4/4s, I guess. No attacks! Nice. Okay, we're not dead yet. We did lose a lot of things, though. And he can Ranger Captain of Eos again? Ooh, that's bad. We draw a Gideon Ally of Zendikar. We probably won't be able to cast it. We would need to draw instant speed spot removal to get rid of the Ranger Captain of Eos. Opponent goes up to 3 life. The Gideon is off of the Selvala activation, by the way. Let's see what Nate drew. Drew a Plains. Tristani into play. Yeah, that can gain a lot of life. Cracks another clue. Here comes a Dwindlin Guiltleaf Dane. Yep, that can gain life, and it has reach. Suture Priest coming into play. Triggers the Tristani. Sentinel of the Eternal Watch will trigger. Tap down the flying blocker, I guess. We'll activate Makokoro. We draw a Sphere of Safety. Probably won't be able to cast it. Smothering Tithe will trigger. We can pay for that, I think. Yeah, use the Lost Veil. And put Elspeth back on the bottom. I believe that's everything we can do right here. Leonin War Leader into us. Opponent will get 2 1/1s that also attack. That'll trigger the Suture Priest. And that'll trigger the Tristani. Start blocking stuff. Our things are indestructible. So they lose a bunch of things. Yep, gonna sacrifice that Ranger Captain of Eos again. That hurts. Not a lot of creatures in this deck. We draw in a Johnny. Smothering Tithe will trigger. I'm gonna pay for that. Should have killed him. Play the Spine Rock Knoll. See what we hit with that. Grateful Apparition, Ancient Tomb, Elspeth Tyrell, and Ugin the Ineffable. Ugin is a very good card. I think Ugin. Animate Gideon. Actually, use... What did Karn reveal last time? Sunhome is a card. Okay. Sunhome might actually be what we need to close this out. Oh, we already played a land! No! Ugh. So we're going to have to wait. How many artifacts do we control? Not that many. Yeah, keep revealing cards then. There's a Steel Shaper's Gift. We probably won't ever be able to cast it, though. And the exile's a Volt Charge. Animate Gideon. Draw with Makokoro. There's a Chain Veil. Exile Sun Titan. It's going to be a Dust Elemental. Can we respond to that at all? Doesn't look like it. Oketra's Monument will trigger. God Eternal Oketra will trigger. Oh, this thing's got flying. And Fear Suture Priest will trigger. Suture Priest can't actually kill them with all the tokens coming in. We can only cast the Realm Cloaked Giant half of Realm Cloaked Giant. Citadel Siege on Aurelia. Aurelia on Aurelia. Slam all these things into Nate. Mentor will trigger. Guess we can mentor the Jeru. It's going to use the Dust Elemental to block Aurelia. Yeah, they're going to do a lot of blocking. Prevent the damage to Gideon. So we eat a bunch of tokens right there. That does keep us safe, which is good news. Oh, we could have proliferated. Crap. Well, I guess we'll do all that at the end step. See if hands get wheeled or anything like that. Can't do much else. Pass the turn. Need to discard some cards. Discard the Plateau, I guess. I guess Realm Cloak Giant gives us something to reanimate. Still 2 cards to go. Don't actually know that we'll ever get to the Anointed Procession, and guess we get rid of Gideon since we haven't been gaining life. Nate's also got a Mana Crypt on him. So Ranger Captain of Eos coming back to play. Suture Priest will trigger. Sentinel will trigger. Tap the flyer. He's going to send everything into Xeno. Yeah, I think he sees the life gain piling up over there. I don't think this is going to be... It may or... I can't tell if it's lethal yet. Also, I think he's worried about the Suture Priest. He just takes it all and goes down. Okay. So the other life gain deck finally going down. Nate's still got a lot of tricks at his disposal. He's got Throne of the High City. He's going to play another creature. He's got Arch of Oriska. Soul's Attendant gains him life. Ooh, the Oketra's Monument. Yeah, he's going to be gaining some life back right here. It's going to be a struggle, and especially if he keeps getting back the Ranger Captain of Eos and making it so we can't play non-creature spells. There's like 10 creatures in the deck, so it's just super hard for us to get through that. So the plan right now, if everything holds up, the plan is going to be to use Karn, get Sunhome, Karn's Bastion on Aurelia, use Citadel Siege on Aurelia. Here's a core cartographer for opponent. And just try to go on the flying double strike trample, either get there with commander damage or regular damage, since he doesn't have much in the way of flying. And also he does have a mana crypt in play. If we can get him down to 3, he could die to that. He appears to have run out of things. He is a very sizable ground army, though. He's going to draw a card. We are in the end step, so... Where's our Makokoro at? Oh, we already used Makokoro. We will activate Karn's Bastion. He's going to draw a card. Basically just into a card draw battle now. He's going to draw another card. He's going to draw another card. We get to proliferate. So proliferate Aurelia, Jeru, Karn, Gideon, and the Wanderer. I would proliferate some of his creatures, like especially the Fiend Hunter, if I could get something back. Does this get any creature or is only you? You control, because I would totally do that to shoot the Fiend Hunter. He's going to get a Mind Stone. Yep. Let's use... Where's Mistveil Plains at? Use Mistveil Plains, put Wheel of Fortune back to the bottom. So brings it back to our turn. Emeria will trigger. We'll get the Giant back into play. He will continue to sacrifice the Ranger Captain of Eos. Yep. We draw a Gaia Reach Sanitarium. That is reasonably helpful. Smothering Tithe will trigger. He gets a token. Okay, so... Use Karn. Get Sunhome. Oh, we could also gotten Volt Charge. Play Sunhome. Equip Sword of the Animist to Aurelia. Anything we can exile? Doesn't look like it. Animate Gideon. Oh, he's up to 22. Ouch. Citadel Siege will trigger. Citadel Siege on Aurelia. Aurelia on itself. Keep back this token since it doesn't have Vigilance. Sword of the Animist will trigger. Nothing to put it on. Let's Mentor on a creature that doesn't have plus counters on it, so we'll go for the Sentinel. No to the Animist. Mentor. So he blocks a couple things. Aurelia's not blocked, so unless he's got something, this might do it. Double Strike Aurelia. Karn's Bastion. And Proliferate. Oh, this might be Xaxes. Hopefully he doesn't have anything. We got him! Exactly 22. Nice. Oh my god, he had a true conviction. Wow, that was getting close. Oh, we let him live, and that was a mistake. That was a terrible, terrible mistake. Oh my god. Yeah, this deck is pretty cool. It is not fast. It is a painfully slow deck. Although we didn't hit our combo. If we hit the combo with Sunforger and Final Fortune, Angel's Grace, all that stuff, it'll speed up a bit. But it is a slow deck. But it was a ton of fun. We got some great play out of our opponents. We got to see a lot of their decks as well. So really fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.